This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, all. Let's get started the session. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, yesterday we discussed what is database and what are the prerequisites, and what are the roles and responsibilities as a DBA. What is our role and responsibilities? Okay, these including Oracle database architecture. Okay, these topics we have discussed as part of Oracle database architecture. We have one more topic is left that today we will discuss. We have Oracle database architecture level 2, that is multi-tenant architecture. Multi-tenant architecture. What is multi-tenant architecture? We will discuss today. Okay, that is one thing. And then how we can connect, how we can connect to the database. Also, how we can manage the database. How we can manage the database. Manage the database means start and stop. Okay, how to check the status whether the database is up and running or not. Okay, and how many ways we can start the database and how many ways we can stop the database. So those we will discuss today. And also, if time permits, we will discuss the user management. Okay, user management. So whatever we discussed as part of Oracle DBA training, topic number 1 is architecture. In this architecture, we divided into two parts. First part yesterday we discussed, and today we are going to discuss about the second part. In next few seconds you will get to know what are all the two parts of architecture. Okay, and then basics like how we are going to connect the database, what is the database server, and how it is look like. Okay, what are all the tools we discussed, right? We required some of the tools as part of DBA. We are going to handle those tools, so we will discuss those also. I'll give you the lab section as well. So only these topics we have covered: architecture part and tools, and then third part is user management. Let us jump to the our today's session. Today's session we are going to start with architecture part 2. Okay, let me show you that architecture which we learned yesterday. This is normal standard architecture till 11G databases. Okay, I'll show you this part. Whatever I'm showing here, this is Oracle database architecture from version 2 to 11G, including 12C also. But in 12C we have the flexibility whether we want to go with this architecture. We have an option, or else if you are going with this architecture, that is also possible. But we have a feature that is multi-tenant architecture from 12C onwards. 12C release, Oracle database release 12C onwards. Oracle released the number one or best feature, that is multi-tenant architecture. Okay, this multi-tenant architecture. First, yesterday we learned, right, the normal architecture. Hey, we are having user process, server process with the memory, and memory means it's a physical storage, and this is a logical storage. Logical storage we learn as the CRD files, all the physical files. Okay, and logical, in the logical storage, what we learn, SGA plus background process, we call it as an instance, Oracle database instance. That is logical portion. But in 12C onwards, from 12C onwards till 20 3C. We are having a recent version 23C. It is not for live. It is for just development purpose. 19C is the 19C database version is the one which organizations are used for live, like production and their projects. What is the main difference means? Here we are having only one database. Okay, on one instance we are maintaining. If you want to maintain other instance, yeah, we can maintain that as well. Like I'll show you here. If it is a database, in this database we are having CRD files. These are physical files, and this is our logical instance. I can say instance. Instance is nothing but the combination of SGA plus background processes. It's a memory. Okay, in till 11G we are using in this way. Here we have a server process, here we have user process. User, if want to connect to this database, he has to send a request to server process. Server process will connect with the memory. Once the instance is started, here we have a background processes. The requested data or information fetched from this data to here buffer caches, and library cache is there. From there the request came back to the server process, and server process gives the output to user session. User session is nothing but your physical machine like laptop, mobile, from where you are going to request. This we call it as a client machine. This is a server process. Okay, but this is a till 11G and 12C we are maintaining in this way the architecture. If you want to apply some patches on the databases and all, we have to apply on this part, instance part, not on the physical storage. Okay, this is just a storage where we are holding like a hard disk. Okay, we no need to apply any patches on this part. As and when we mention that we are applying the patches, means we are applying the patches on this part including the memory, Oracle home and binaries, everything will be there. Okay, so completely this is our standard architecture. Now from 12C onwards we are using multi-tenant architecture. It will, what happened, no, it is giving the two features. What is those two features means? CDB and PDB kind of environments. Okay, the instance is same. Even in the 12C environment we are having instance. Here also we are having instance. The instance and other background processes, everything is same. But here we are having extra layer, CDB PDB model. What is mean by the CDB? Okay, CDB means container database. It's a container database. It is holding this information: system table spaces, sysops, data files, temp, undo. These are all the table spaces. I'll tell you in the next upcoming sessions what are all these. What do you mean by the table space? What is the use of the table spaces? Okay, original data where the information is going to store, that is under table spaces only. So it specifically the CDB part is there. It is holding some of the table spaces and information, and real log files also, archive log files, control files and parameter files. These are physical files. Also extra we are having PDB seeded. Okay, this is pluggable database seed option. It's by default the software level we used to get that. And also we have an extra option to create extra pluggable databases. This is one pluggable database, HR1. Another one is sales database. I'll give you the clear picture here. What is mean by that information? Till now we are having only database, means we thought this one only, right? But from 12C onwards, multi-tenant database means this instance is there. Okay, another database, one CDB will be there, and PDB seed will be there, and PDB, another database will be there. This is PDB, this is PDB, this is PDB seed, PS, this is container CDB, container CDB. Okay, it's our instance. It's normal. This one is normal. It's like our previous architecture. So we no need to look into this part. We are just focusing on this CDB part. What is this pluggable database seed and what is the pluggable database. Okay, this CDB is holding extra table spaces, which are not the table spaces, extra files. So redo log files, control files, parameter file, and archive redo log. This is optional one. If you enable your database into redo log mode, like archive mode, this file is required. These files are common for all these one. Like here one PDB is there, another PDB is there. So these files, this control file and parameter files are used, this HR database and this sales database. Earlier, we are using, in this environment, we are using one control file for one database. But here one control file, multiple databases. One parameter file we are maintaining with multiple pluggable database information it will store. In this way. Earlier, no, this architecture, one database, one instance. If you want to connect, come in, you can see this picture, one database, we have installed one application. So we are having close to here 11 databases are there. So 11 applications. So if you want to install 11 applications like SOA application, e-business suite application, OBI, some other applications, each application is required one database. So we need to install 11 times in 11 servers. So each server is required. I'll show you in the diagram. Each server is required 10 GB RAM, 1 TB hard disk. If you are thinking in this way, 1 TB hard disk. Each database is required in this case. So how many databases we are having? 11 databases. So 11 databases, 11 TB we required. Total storage we required 11 TB. How much memory we required? 10 GB. Each database is 10 GB. 110 GB SGA is required. Memory, I can say SGA is required. Also, we have this CPU, right? Number of cores. How many cores you required? Each database we have. If you holding 4 CPUs, central processing unit. Okay, 11 databases. We need to maintain 44 CPUs. These CPUs are very cost one. It depends upon how many CPUs are you are using. That much cost you have to pay for that. Okay. This is our standard architecture which we learn here. To overcome these many, so 11 applications require 11 databases. Why can't we use single database for 11 applications? If you are using in that way, we can save the number of storage, CPUs, and SGA also. Correct. And also one more option. If you want to apply a patch, you have to apply the patch on this database. You need certain time, like 3 hours downtime. So 3 hours downtime to apply a single patch and single database. In that case, how many hours we required? Close to 33 hours. So here we are spending a DBA resources, extra resource also we need to involve. 33 hours downtime, it's a huge. Okay, to overcome these two problems, not only these two are the main problems. Oracle has introduced the multi-tenant architecture from 12c onwards. See here, one CDB database, this completely one CDB database, software we have installed once, and that software, after you install the software, instance has been built, and then CDB will, by default, it will be configured, and PDB seed will configure. If you want to add extra PDB instances, this is one PDB, this is another PDB. You can start from one PDB to n number of PDBs, around 254 or more than that, it will support. Okay, n number of PDB instances you can install. So same architecture we can take it to here, single database image here. We are created 11 PDB instances instead of 11 databases installed. We install 11 PDB instances. That too we can easily create it from seed PDB. We can able to create another PDBs, pluggable databases. Okay, each PDB can hold its own temporary, like it mentioned, right? It is having own table space. So we can assign that memory not the memory, storage. We can assign the individual storage, and also we can operate easily. In this case, no, in multi-tenant architecture, if you want to apply a patch, you can take 3 hours downtime and you can apply it. That's it. All 11 applications which are there on this database, we can use the same CDB database. Okay, 3 hours downtime, 1 DBA can do it. And also we can save the memory, whatever I can say, 11 TB, right? It is not required this much. We can use around 6 to 7 TB, something like that. Why? Because no, if you are assigning 1 TB to each database, right? We used to maintain some buffer, right? 1 TB we can make around 400 GB or 500 GB free. So that is also resource waste. If you are having one database, you can assign 6 terabytes and 11 applications you can maintain on the database. If you want to apply the patch, you can apply on the CDB at 3 hours downtime or 2 hours downtime according to that. So to overcome the resource utilization, huge resource is required from this architecture. And also we can overcome with the memory, like how much we are going to save the customer. That is the main important thing. As a DBA, we have to save the database. Also the cost wise also we need to benefit. We need to give the benefit to the clients or customers. So that is the multi-tenant architecture, nothing much. So how this architecture will looks like? Okay, I'll show you. This is the command from where you are going to connect your SQL prompt. From this SQL prompt, we are going to access this database. This is the database that I showed you. I'll show you here clearly. This is the database, right? As I said, data files, control files. If you want to access these files from the putty, you have to use this SQL plus as a sysdba. From this SQL prompt, we can able to access, not from the OS level. If dollar symbol is showing, means this is OS level command, like operating system level. It is not connected to the database. If you use SQL plus as a sysdba, sys is the admin user for your database. Okay, admin user, sysdba is a admin user privilege. So I connected to my database. I'm asking show PDBs. In our diagram here, almost 11 PDBs are showing here. Okay, 11 PDBs. But in my instance, I have only one PDB. Let me show you the architecture here to compare. It is easier. No. Yeah. See here in this architecture, what I showed, this CDB, right? This CDB part is holding wherever I enter the command show PDBs, right? That is the CDB part. Okay, that is CDB. And PDB seed, I am able to see this PDB seed, the container, CON underscore name means container name. Number 1 is missing, right? Here container ID. That number 1 is the CDB one. Number 2 is CDB one, number 1. Number 2 is PDB seed. Number 3 is pluggable database one. In here I am showing HR name, but I kept this name is PDB1. In this way, I can make n number of PDB1, PDB2, PDB3, PDB10, hundreds of databases I can add it. What is the use? If we add each database, if we want to configure that database with the different applications, each application is required one database. Okay, at that time, this will help to maintain and reduce the cost. Okay, I hope you understand this architecture. This is the difference. Earlier, no, we don't have this concept. Till 11G, in 12C also, if you are not enable the multi-tenant, we are generally using just this show PDBs concept will not be there. Show user, something like that. I'll show you, might be end of this session. I'll install another non-multi-tenant database and I'll show you that as well. Okay, that is multi-tenant architecture. So it will reduce the cost, also it will reduce the overload and all. The file system. Today I want to show you how the file system will looks like where the Oracle home will be there, where your Oracle software, once you install the Oracle software, right, where the Oracle binaries will there, and also where your Oracle base location. Base location means if you are going to construct a house, first you need a basement, right? So here, if you want to see echo dollar Oracle underscore base, let me make it up. Echo dollar Oracle underscore base. This is the base path where I am going to install my Oracle home and the log files and data files. Okay, this is the base where I am going to install my Oracle database software path. This is not the mean, this is the base path. On top of this base path, here this Vara data means my original data files, CRD files will store here. Under Vara data, this name, my database files like CRD files, data files, online to do log and control files. So we have to identify what is the Oracle base. Oracle base is the location where we are going to install your software, and also where you are going to install your data files and diagnostic files. Everything from this path you are going to install. After that, we have individual paths like Oracle home. Oracle home means where your software has been installed. See, after till this path I have a base, and then I have created one more directory like product and 19C folder, and then DB home. This is my DB home where I have installed my database. These are all the software, database software files. Okay, these software files will help us to do your DBA tasks, to create a user, to create a table space, to maintain your database and all, to access your data files. Everything will maintain by this information. If you want to add another node, something like that, extra node and all. So this is the home path. Under home path, another two important directories are there. These blue color folders are showing. These we call it as a directors in Linux. In Windows we call it as a folders, but in Linux we call it as a directories. Okay, LS means list of the files under your present working directory. My present working directory is this. Under this, what are all the files? If I want to see, I have to enter ls command, list of the files. So these are all the files. How you can identify whether it is a file, normal file, or it is a directory? If anything starting with your D, that is the directory. Directory means folder in Windows language, but we have to understand it's a directory in a Linux technical word. Anything start with D, that's a directory. Directory means we can go right inside. In Windows, if you want to go with anything, it's a folder, right? We can go. Is it folder or file? It is a file. It is not a folder. So Windows we can able to identify in this way, but in Linux server we can identify it in this way. If this file is starting with D, it's a directory. If it is not start with D, if it start with hyphen, it is a file. Simple one. So here one more, as I said, we have one more important location is DBS location. Under home, you have a DBS folder, database server folder. Under that, we have important parameter file. I mean, we yesterday or before previous class we read it. No, what in it parameter file. This parameter file holds your information like what is your database name, what is your SID names, where your control files are stored, where your undo table, what is your undo table space name, everything, all the database related information will be stored under your parameter file. If you want to modify anything in this parameter file, you have to shut down your database and you need to start up to to update that updated information. It won't like I'm going to change something in the parameter file. It will not impact immediately now. Okay, if I want to add even if I want to add anything, I'm going to add hash command, something like. If you want to see, it will not impact. Hash means commented. If I want to add something undo table space 2 instead of 1, if I make it, that will not that will not update immediately. If you want to update that information, whatever you have updated now, you have to shut down your database and you need to start up. Then only it will update. When you are using P file, P file is nothing but init.vara. Init your sid.vara. Generally, the name conversion will be that way. Another file is there, SP file, server parameter file. Okay, as part of the parameters, we have discussed about the parameter file and SP file. SP file we cannot able to read. It's a trace. I mean, it is not a text format. It's a binary format. Okay, suppose if I want to read it, no, I just shown you. This will not. I think it is created one original SP file. We can see here. It is showing different characters, right? But in P file, we are able to see in proper way. Okay, here also we are seeing different characters and symbols. So it means it's not proper way. We should not open SP file. Okay, if you want to read this SP file, you have to create it with the create P file from SP file. In that way, you need to create it. Okay, we are going out of the subject. What I want to show you, Oracle base is the base path. From this path, you have Vara data. Under Vara data, I showed you, right? Our CRD files has been stored. And one more folder will be there, diagnostics. Diagnostic is nothing but the trace files, alert log file, important one. Those two are, if anything happen in your database, you want to monitor somewhere, right? That somewhere path is the diagnostic path. Under this only, you have your trace file location. Also, you have your alert log files also. Okay, alert log files. And the another one is a product. It's like for understanding purpose, somebody will not mention this product, they will name it different way. But as Oracle standards, we have to follow Vara data, diag and product. That is good. I mean, anybody can able to, if somebody join your team, if they are understanding the Oracle architecture part, they can directly go where your data files are resides in your server, where your diagnostic files, where your home, Oracle home, product tab, under product tab, your version, then DB home. DB home is nothing but your Oracle home. Under Oracle home DBS location, I just now shown you, right? There I have P file and SP file. Both files will be there. Those are the parameter files to control your database. And one more location, that is network. Okay, after DB home, Oracle home, network folder and admin. Here we are having, these are the network configurations like listener and TNS SQL.NET. These are more important one. We will discuss this part also. We have one topic, network. How we are managing the network in the database level. That is separate part. Okay. Only these are the important files where you can note down. Under Oracle base, Oracle data, diagnostic. Diagnostic is nothing but your alert log and trace files will be stored in this path. And product tab. Okay, that concludes your Oracle database architecture till date, till 23 version, Oracle 23C versions. Let me take a questions, a quick 5 minutes, and then we'll go for next topic.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, next topic we are going to discuss about how we are going to manage database. Okay, manage means how we are going to use the database, like what is the main use of the database, like we want to store our data, we want to retrieve the data, and we have to take care of the data, database, everything, right? So to manage the database, we can discuss with the status of database startup and shutdown, startup and shutdown. How we are going to manage the startup process? The startup process we can go with in 3 phases, 3 steps. Step 1 is startup. It's a normal startup. Next one is startup no mount. Another one is startup mount. Okay, if you initiated this startup, it will directly do these 2 phases. no mount also it will do, and then mount also it will do. I'll tell you what is mean by this mount, what will happen in the no mount, why these many phases that we are having. Okay, we have other options also. Some of the options start of force and some other also there, but those are not that much of importance as for our requirements. Okay, startup is nothing but it will do the startup no mount and then mount, and it will uh, open the database to connect all the users to perform their activities. Like if somebody wants to access the database should be open mode. Startup means it will open the database. Okay, you just if you enter the startup also automatically these two phases will happen, but if you do these steps that open will not happen. If you want to move it, startup no mount, if you did this startup no mount, the database will mean instance will start in a no mount phase. Okay, not in the mount also. No mount, it is not mounted. It means it will read the parameter file. Parameter file means I showed you just before. No, let me go to this DBS. Whatever the parameter file I am showing here, samples vara. I make it as a samples.vara. Okay, when you initiated startup no mount, this will read that the parameter file and it will start the background processes. That's it. It will not read the control file also. It will read only the parameter file, the database name, SIDs, and other things. It will not open the control file also. In this phase, what we can do, we can rename the control file. Why? Because the control file is not yet opened. We can, if you want to rename it, we can rename also control file. Okay, if you want to rebuild your database, rename the database also. I'll show you those image oriented one. See here, if you want to start, if you enter the startup from the database console, from this database, if you want to start, no, you have to connect to this sysdba only from the server. I'll show you how you have to connect to this and all today's session only. If I initiated this startup, okay, database is already running. If you want to start up, you can do. This is a command only, the startup command I told you. Let me shut down 100. I'll do the startup. I'll show you the live itself. Okay. In this startup no mount means it will just open the parameter file. If you are using SP file, it will read that SP file. But in our case, we are using P file. It is just reading the P file. And instead get created, that is memory will be assigned and background processes also will start. We can create a database in this no mount stage. If you want to create a new database, okay, you have to put your instance on no mount. And then if you want to create a control file, recreate a control file, that also we can do in no mount. We cannot do when the database is open, we cannot do these two steps. Okay, that is where we have no mount stage. What happened in the startup mount? If you initiated the startup mount means it will startup no mount will happen and then mount will happen. First step, then second step. Oracle will open and it will read the control file. And then we can perform the recovery. If anything happen, recovery means if data files, any data is lost, archive files is lost. If you want to restore, you can restore those files from the mount stage. You cannot restore those files from the no mount. Why? Because no, each and every data file information and crucial information stores under your control file only. So once this control file opens, then only you can able to, it will says that all the files is there or not. If anything is missed, this control file will tell to this instance, so and so file is missing. If everything is fine, it will not throw any error. That is where in mount phase, we can perform the recovery. We can enable the archive log mode, yes, I mean enabled or disabled. We have two options. If you want to enable it, what will happen? If you enable the archive log, what will happen means in this diagram, we have archive log files separately in the diagram. I want to show you that this one. Okay, as I said, archiver background process is an optional one. If you are not enabled the archive log mode, whatever the redo logs are writing here, these will not take the backup. If you enable the archive log mode in your database, the log files will write in this online redo log files, as well as those will write into your archive log files. These are the backup of this redo log files. Online redo log file backup is archive log files. Okay. If you are not enabled the archiver mode is not enabled, these files will not there. That is where we mention it is optional background process archiver. Okay, that how we need to do, we need to start your database in mount stage, then only you can enable or disable the archive log mode and flashback also. So this is the step. If database is open means it's completely open and everybody can able to access and they can do their normal stuff, work. See, it's a shutdown normal process. Shutdown normal will take a lot of time. If I do shutdown abort, I'll discuss this also. In few seconds I'll explain this also. See, shut down or shut is a shortcut of shutdown. How much time it took? Almost like more than a minute or 2 minutes. It is not waiting for something. Some transactions is going on, so it is not shut down completely. But as and when I used shutdown abort, what happened? Immediately, right? This is abruptly shut it down. It means it required the instance recovery. Some data might be lost. What we should not use this command in real time. Please make note this one. Shutdown abort is the very bad command if in the real time organization. Why? Because some of the users are already connected to your database. They are doing some transactions. They are in between that transaction. Suppose I have these many lines code is there. I'm writing. I was mid of this line. So till these lines I haven't committed. I'm still writing the code. Somebody in the background, database administrator, he shut about the database. What will happen? Whatever the data I have written here, I will lose this. If it is a financial data, that is a loss for the company. So we should not use this abort command in real time. But very rarely we can use. But when we are going to use, we have to send a certain communication to everybody. We have a downtime in the database. Then we have to use shutdown immediate one. I'll tell you later on that part. Okay, but make sure shutdown abort is not a good way to practice, but is very bad command. Leave it that. Let me show you startup no mount. Whatever I told here, whether it is doing same or not. See, startup no mount means instance started. Instance means SGA plus background processes. Here see SGA, system global area. Okay, and fixed size, variable size, and this database buffers and redo log buffers where it resides under SGA only, right? So the memory is assigned to this instance. This much memory, these many bytes has been assigned to each and every process. Also background process in the background. I'll show you the background processes. PS-EF pipe grep. Vara star if I can mention. PS-F user. Max DB. See, we are having these many processes are running in the background. See, VM, SGA, DRG, seamless. These are the processes. If you want to see, these are all the background processes. Okay, PMON. I told you, right? It's one of the important PMON background process. CLN. These are all the optional. VKTM, Gen, MMAN, diagnostics, CKPT. I told you, right? CKPT is the background process. SMON, system monitor. It is also there. Recovery. Okay. Other background process also will start. Whatever I told, those background processes also started up. DBRM, database resource managers, log writer, see here, DB writer. So complete whatever I told earlier, those background processes, those are mandatory. Apart from that, n number of background processes we are having. Okay. What happened in the no mount stage? It is just started the instance and assigned the memory. That's it. It is not doing anything. Okay. If you want to read something from the database, select star from $database. It's a view to know the database information related. What it's saying, database not mounted. It is just no mounted. Okay. Next, I'm going to use startup mount command. From this step, you cannot use startup mount. You have to use alter command. Once you use one startup command, from the next step, where it is, okay, that is left. See here, it is saying in this way, but it is not up and running, but instance is started. You cannot start up mount. Startup mount means it will again start from the no mount stage. For that, what you need to do, alter database MOUNT. Every SQL should end with semicolon. That is one rule. Okay, that you learn from here. I haven't given here. See here, it is asking. Otherwise, the query could not execute it. Database is alter. Alter means it's now in mount stage. Still, I can try to read the data. Data where it resides in the database. When we are able to access, it should be open. Then only we can able to read it. But the control file is, what happened? Control file is in the mount stage. We can able to read that. It is just a view. It should be there in the describe v dollar database. Select star from DBA underscore data underscore files. What it is saying? Database are pluggable, not open. This is a system file or data dictionary files. Okay, whatever the view I used, that just shown the output. But whatever the original data where it resides, I want to read that. What it is saying, database or pluggable database is not open. Okay, let me open. From this stage, if I want to open database, I cannot use, see here, if I want to use startup, it will not allow me. What I need to do is alter database open. Alter database. Once you start up, command is completed. Next command alter only it will work. So what is happened? Database is alter. What it is mean? Database now is opened. Opened means everybody can able to access. Everybody means those who are having the access with their privileges. What are all the privileges they have? According to that, they can able to perform the transactions or they can able to access it. Let me read this. See, I got the output, right? That is where the meaning for this shutdown or startup one. See, if you initiated the startup one, the black line, concentrate on this black line. What happened? Directly it will open. Okay, startup command. If you use startup no mount, this orange line you can see, it will only start the no mount. Okay, we here that SGA will assign and this instance will be started. If you use startup mount, it will do startup no mount plus startup mount. Both will happen. But if you want to go from no mount to mount, how you can go? You can use alter database mount command. Once you did that, your database status will be mount stage. From this stage to this stage, how you need to go? Directly use alter database open. If you use startup also, it will throw an error. It means up arrow means database. This symbol is database and up arrow means up. Database is up and running. Clear? This is one thing. Okay, and next one is shutdown process. Another mode is also there. Startup force is there. Startup mount is there. Startup mount restricted. Mount restricted means we can use if you want to drop the database, we have to put your database into restricted mode. Then only you can drop it. Otherwise, it will throw an error. It is a very restricted mode. So intentionally we are doing some action. That is where you are going to drop the database is a big thing. No, original data you are going to drop it. That is where we can use startup mount restricted. Then only it will use drop database command. Okay, in shutdown. So that concludes the startup phases. If you want to, generally we can use startup. That's it, nothing much. Okay, and shutdown. In shutdown also we have different ways. Shutdown normal. Okay, shortcut also you can use, or shutdown also you can use, or shutdown normal also you can use. Any command you can use, that is normal, shutdown normal. This will take time. I showed you earlier also. See here, shut down or shut also fine. This is a normal shutdown. It will take time. Even in its normal database, no, we are using single database, single user I have connected. No other users have been connected till now. So it is showing in that way. But in real time, right, you can understand uh, the time, how much time it took to shut down. Okay, what happened when you initiated the shutdown? New connections will not allowed, and any ideal sessions will not disconnect. Those will be there in that way. If whatever the transactions, suppose I told you, right, if I am writing something in that here, let me show. I'm writing 10 lines of code. Okay, I'm writing this line till I have committed, or I have to exit from this session. Like you can think about this window, I can say one session. That shutdown will not complete. What will happen at that time? It's a graceful, proper shutdown. We will not get any data loss. Okay, that is a proper shutdown, but it is a time consuming one. But real time we can go with, that's okay. We require data security. ICR means this recovery is not required. Recovery means if any data is lost, then only we can go with the recovery and restore options. But in this case, no data will be lost, so ICR is not required. And another way is that shutdown transactional, means it is also similar to normal only, but whatever the transactions are there, current transactions, until unless those transactions is completed, the database will not shut down. There is no data loss also. It is also similar to the shutdown normal only. It is also take time to shut down your database. Why we are discussing these things, right? You have suddenly on production, you have certain issues happen. You have a data fix, simple data fix. You require a quick bounce of your database. At that time, if you are going with the shutdown normal or shutdown transactional options, that will take lot of time. The shutdown itself, it take time, half an hour, 1 hour. We don't know if it is a huge database, huge number of users. Everybody should shut down. Everybody should close their sessions. Then only the database will be closed. But those are recommended way. We used to go for shutdown normally. Shutdown normal means shutdown command only. Okay. When once you initiated the shutdown command, till that time, those who are already connected to the database, they will not their sessions will not close. If somebody newly want to connect to the database, it is throwing error to them, database is not available. So it means that new connections are not allowed. Means existing connections, ongoing connections, they can perform the transactions once they initiated the commit, or once they have closed the session, that will automatically completed. And shutdown immediate, this new connections also it will not allow. Every shutdown command will not allow the new connections, except abort. We will not lose our data. Okay, only in shutdown abort only we will lose. There is a possibility to lose the data. Shutdown abort is nothing but abruptly happen. Like I'm working here, if my battery backup is not there for laptop, if power is gone, obviously my laptop will shut down, right? Whatever sessions I have opened, I will last. If something in the Word document I haven't saved it, I will last, right? Same way will happen in the database. About means in that way. Remaining all shutdown normal, shutdown transactionally, shutdown immediate are normal one. This also it happen. Like, compared to normal and transactional, if I can initiate the shutdown immediate command, it will very quick one compared to those two. Okay, there is no data loss in this also. It is also graceful shutdown, graceful normal smooth shutdown only, but it's bit faster one. Yep. I mean, I already discussed about, I showed also, that is not recommended, but yeah, as and when it is required, we have to go also. But in worst case, that too we have to communicate the business before going to that option. Anyway, in the real time, as and when we are going to shut down the production or any other instances, we have proper communication to all the stakeholders. Then only we are going to shut down. We are not going and doing alone or without informing anybody. Okay, we should have a proper communication before going to take any actions on the database sites. See what happened when I initiated the shutdown. Database closed. It means whatever the database is opened, that is closed, and whatever the database is mounted, what happened, that is dismounted. Mount, dismount, opposite words only. Okay, and then what happened, instance is started, right, it is shut down. If I start this, what will happen? You can see here, right, real time. What is happened? Instance started. When we are doing shutdown, what will happen? Instance means shutdown in the last. Vice versa. If instance started first, it will go last down. After that, what will happen? Database mounted. This is a middle step. Database dismounted when you shut down. Database opened. First, what happened? If you want to shut down, database should be closed. Closed means not allowed for the any connections to the database. This is the way we can maintain our database. Okay, how we can start up, how now we can shut down our databases. Okay, in this way. And then next topic, how we can connect to the database. Okay, how we can connect to the database. Let me show you whatever I have shown, the maintenance activities and all. I'll show you from the startup. Let me close the session. As and when if you want to close the footage session, you can use exit command. Okay, exit command. Don't go and close it. That is not recommended way. If you want to close the session, you can use exit command. Okay, this already, see, it's a putty session. If you want to see whether it is active, like if I want to enter something, nothing will happen, right? It means the session is inactive. It is not active. Okay, now I want to connect to Rack Infotech server. On this server, I can able to install n number of databases. Note this one. This is a server. We can install n number of, is a server name. Okay, n number of databases. Okay, but we required limited memory. Mean how much? Like suppose in my Windows, this is my laptop. I have installed my Windows operating system. Okay, on top of that, I have installed another virtual box, Oracle virtual box. In this virtual box, I have assigned certain kind of memory, 4 GB memory to my this instance, rack server, Rack Infotech server. If I want to add one more machine in this virtual box, I can add it a new one, or else here I can say new one. If I have sufficient memory in the system, okay, in this system you can take it as a server. Inside of that server, you can create n number of machines or hosts. Rack Infotech 1 host. If you can take Rack Infotech 2, okay, Rack Infotech 2, another server. If you want, you can create it. See how much memory I have. So that will like 64 MB. What is this? How many CPs you want to give? So if you want to give in MBs, you can give it. You can give GBs also, but limited. Yeah, now it came. No, see here, 13 GB. I have free almost close to 40 GB of my RAM. Okay, if I want to give 6 GB, we can calculate it like 1 GB is 1024 MB. 1 MB equal to 1024 KB. If you want to divide the memory, you can divide 1024 with divided by 1024. Okay. Now what happened? 6000 MB. If I want to give 4 GB. So how many CPUs I want to give? I have almost 16 CPUs I have. It is showing 16, right? Whatever the red is there, till that almost it is occupied. I want to give 2 CPUs or two CPUs. So in this way, you have to create a new virtual machine. Okay, in the same way, if I don't have this virtual machine, okay, if I don't have this virtual machine, if I want to install an operating system Linux in this system, what will happen? At a time, one server can hold one operating system. For that purpose, I took a server, big server like my laptop. On that laptop means I can say I call laptop as a server. In my server, I can install virtual box. Same way in real time also, organizations will take a big server and they will install the virtual box or VMware, some other, whatever of the third-party tools they are using, they can install there. And top of that, they can build development instance, then production instance. If they want to install another applications, they can build in this way. So if you want to access this instance from the putty session, what we required, I'm just showing from the putty session is in this way. First, as and when you download the putty, that executable file will open. This will come in this way. Okay. So each server it is having IP address and host name. We can racks infotech. We call it as a host name. Each host name below, behind one IP should be there. This is that host name IP. I'm trying to connect this host name. Okay, or else I'll give racks infotech. Okay, racks infotech is my host name, database host name. I'm trying to connect. See, it is prompted properly. No, it is asking login as. So login as Oracle. Oracle is the user. It's operating system user. It is not the database user. Note this one. This what wherever whenever you are trying to connect to any server, the server login credentials your operating system login credentials. Once you log into this operating system, on that operating system we have installed our database. I'll give you the clear picture where our data, how our database has been decided. See, this is my server. Suppose it's my laptop. Okay, inside of that laptop I have installed the virtual box. I have installed the virtual box. Okay, this is my laptop. It's a server. It is a server. This is my virtual box. What I am showing here, this is the one. Inside of that virtual box, I have installed operating system. Okay, I have installed operating system. This is operating system. On top of this operating system, I have installed my database. I'll take a different one. Okay. See, it's a server. This one is a server. This is the server. And in that server, we have installed VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox, VB. Inside of that VB, see, in this server, we can install another VirtualBox also. If you have a storage capability, you can install n number of VirtualBox, virtual VB1, VB2. Even here also, I can install another VirtualBox. Okay, server is holding hardware and software. Clear? Server is, it's a big physical physical storage. It's holding or it serves the software and hardware, whatever you require the organizations related. So in virtual machine, I have installed the operating system. This is the software. Okay, operating system software. Okay, on top of this operating system, I have installed the database. You can say server. I have installed operating system, and then I have installed database software. DBMS, database management system, is a software. This one we are going to take it up. Okay, if you want to connect to this DB, this part, you require database user, DB user. We call it as DB user. If you want to log into this, first, if you want to connect to this, you can connect directly to the database, like remotely you can connect it. If you want to connect locally directly to this database server, you require an OS user. First, you need to log into OS, operating system. OS user is required. To connect the DB, you connect locally or remotely. If you connect remotely, you don't need this OS user. Okay, I'll show you how we can connect remotely. Now I'm going to show you the locally, how I'm going to connect the database server locally. To connect the locally direct server, okay, I need operating system. As a DBA, we are going to connect directly to manage the database. Okay, we require an operating system user. Here I am using Oracle is my operating system user. I have connected. See here, this is my user which I logged in. It will show everywhere wherever you connected to the server. It will show left hand side first operating system user and then host name. If you want to see which user you logged in, type ID. It will show first Oracle user. Okay. From here, I have to connect what I shown here. See here, I connected to this one, right? Operating system. Just now I connected to the operating system. I'm yet to connect to the database. Yet to connect to database. I just connected to the operating system. In this operating system, what version I'm using? In this operating system, I am using, see, Enterprise EL. This is EL, Enterprise Linux 7 kernel version. Okay, x86 64-bit. We are calling Windows 32-bit, 64-bit versions, right? Even here we call it as a Enterprise Linux 7 version. We have 6, 7, 8 also there, Enterprise Linux versions. So I just connected to the operating system user. To install a database, you required one OS user. That OS user is this. Once you install the database software, you have installed your database software. Now you are going to maintain that, like manage that. Managing means if you want to apply the patches, if you want to do the cloning, if you want to do the shutdown startups, if you want to create a database, another database, if you want to create a table spaces, if you want to create a users, these are all the managing kind of works. Everything you can do it from here. Okay, let me show you whether my database is up or down. First of all, I want to know that. See here, p process ps-ef pipe grep. Grep means it will filter that word which you have given. Okay, here lot of services running in the server, but you required a specific one. I need SMON, system monitor background process. See, every background process will follow with vara underscore name, vara underscore background process, and our database name. This is our database name. It means my database is up and running. Okay, my database is running. It is not down. Still, if you want to see that whether it is open read write mode or down read only mode, which mode it is, let me connect. How we can connect to if you want to see anything, you can use SQL plus tool as sysdba / onwards as sysdba is the admin user to perform your database tasks. Once you initiated this, it will show you some releases, which version you are having in your server. Clearly it is showing Oracle Database 19c Enterprise Edition. I told you, right? We have database versions different, Enterprise, Standard versions, Express. So it is an Enterprise Edition. The base version is 19.0000, but we have upgraded to 19.3. This is a point level release, 19.3 till 1919, I think, latest one till date, I think. So it's a 19.3. It's the version. From here, we are using multi-tenant database. It is not a previous database. It's a multi-tenant database. So we have to see our PDB status. Our PDB is, we have one PDB. This seed will be there. If you have PDB 1 or 2, 3, 4, if nothing will be there also, but by default, when you install your software, CDB and PDB seed will come. This PDB it's an optional one. While you're installing your database, it will ask you whether you want to create a PDB or what, if you can create a later. Okay, I choose the one. I have created this one. So my PDB is not read write mode. It's just mounted. It is not readable format. PDB means original, the data which I am going to write. If I want to create a user to specific to this PDB, so this should be up and running. If you want to install some applications, you are going to install the applications on the PDBs, not on the CDBs. Okay. It required when you are using CDB PDB model, you have to have one PDB minimum generally. If you don't have a PDB also, somebody will use non-PDB databases for certain kind of developments. But I never used any such kind of databases. So first of all, we need to read write this PDB. How we can do? Alter pluggable database name. See here, the pluggable database is altered. Let me show the same command. In a Linux window, if you want to copy, you just select the word. That's it. It's copied. Okay. And then right click it. It will be pasted. Don't do copy paste like Control C, Control V. Those will not work. Like suppose if I can see Control C, see that word will come. Okay. What happened? Earlier it is mounted, it's not started. Now read write mode. It means we can install the application, whatever the application already installed, that now they can access. Otherwise, when the PDB is mount mode, the application is already installed in this PDB database, they cannot able to access this PDB. So in this way, you have to connect to your database locally. And I told you I can show you remotely also. For remotely, I'll show you, like, user doesn't have a OS user, but they want to connect to this PDB database and they want to do some development access and development work and all. Okay. See here, I want to give the name just for my understanding. Earlier I saved the same one. It's a Rax DB. Suppose it's a dev. I just mentioned for dev for my understanding purpose. If you have a 10 databases, you want to save it, you can save on the names. Which user you want to connect? I want to connect as a sys user. And as and when you are trying to connect with a sys user, it is not a default role. It's a sysdba role we have to give. And what is the password for that? I have saved somewhere else. Or else I'll use this one only. I'll show you some password I have given. Okay. Here I need to give the host name. My host name, how we can find the host name? See here, let me exit. Host name is like OS level 1. Okay. I want to exit from my SQL prompt. I have exited. Now host name. Even it will show here, somebody will not mention complete host name as that one. So host name command, this is my host name. Rax Infotech. What is my port number? How you can find your, what is your database port? Okay. These information will stored under Oracle Home, Network, Admin Location. Check the TNS one. Or else you can see one more way, LSNRCTL status. Here also you can able to see it. Listener. When the listener is up and running, it will show your host name, port number. This is the connection string. We can say this connect by using this connection string only we are connecting remotely, but we are giving individually. What is our port? 1521. What is the service name? See here, some of the services already running. PDB1 is one service. It is running for my PDB. Okay, another one. It's for, I think it's the seed PDB1 is there. No, that one service. This PDB is one service name, and RaxDB, this is a container database service name. So now I have to use my PDB service name. My PDB service name is PDB1. So PDB1. After that, after we enter all the host name, port number, username, password, then you can test it. Now it will fail. Why? Because the excuse me, password is wrong, right? I haven't given the correct password. Let me test this. Okay, another one. I haven't saved that one. I just going to connect this one. See here what happened. Status is success. Whatever the password I have given, it is the correct one. If it test is connected successfully, then you can connect it. Click on connect button. That's okay. Your database connection is already there, but it is somewhere it is not showing in that way. See here. This is your rack database test, whatever I shown here, right? Show whatever we are doing in the putty, we can do here also, but it is a GUI, graphical user interface. If you want to execute this command, in the putty we are just writing and entering, right? But here you can select that word, complete sentence, green button is there, right? Run this one. It will show PDB1 read write. It means it's connected to the PDB. It is not connected to the CDB. Let me show you here. SQL plus as is DBA, show PDBs. What it is showing here, if I enter show PDBs, it is showing PDB seed plus PDB1. It means we are in CDB. We are not connected to the PDB. But here we directly connected to the PDB remotely. That is where it is showing output container ID 3. Here container ID 3 is the PDB1. But it is not showing seeded, right? It is directly connected to the PDB. I'll show you the same thing. Let me connect it to alter session set container. Alter session set the container. What is the container name? My container name is to which I want to connect. I have to give that name. CDB1 I want to connect. Alter this session. Whatever I have, I was there in the CDB session. From there, I want to alter that session. I have altered that session and set to PDB1. Now see the same command I can use. Show PDBs. What it is showing? Container 3, PDB1. It is read write. It is not restricted mode. Same output it is shown here, right? Similar way, it's a local login. We have a OS user password and then only we can able to connect it. As a DBA, you should have these credentials. As a developer, we used to give them these credentials. I mean, the SQL developer connection, user IDs and passwords. Okay, we are not giving them admin credentials. If somebody want to connect remotely, now I have connected remotely as an admin. I use a sysadmin, right? Sys user, right? So sys is an admin user. If that admin user want to connect remotely, they need the password we have to set the password file in the Oracle home DBS location. We need to set the password file. This is the password file. Today I have this one. This is the password file or the sysuser password. Okay, if this password file is not there, let me show you. Move this one to backup. Okay, admin users cannot connect remotely. If this password file is not there in this location, normal users they can able to connect. I will show you that also. But admin users they cannot connect. Let me disconnect this. Here it is. Sorry, cancel. Right click, disconnect. I have disconnected. Now I'm trying to connect it. What is throwing error? Invalid username and password, login denied. Isn't it? Let me move back this password file to normal. Move back up to normal password file. Okay, it plays normally. Earlier I have renamed. Move command is rename the original file. File name is this. I have renamed it to underscore backup. And I am trying to connect this admin user from remotely. It is not allowed because Vara password file is not there in my location. Now I am trying to connect again. See here. Now I can able to connect it. In this way, if it is a normal user means I'll show you right away with another user connection. Test dev user something. Okay, what is the host name? Rax Infotech. Okay, default role also default. If it is an admin user or sys user we are using, we have to use sysdba. Okay, normal user I need to create. Let me create it quickly as sysdba. Actually, that is a different part. As part of user management, I'll show you, but it's a quickly I'll show you. Alter session set container equal to PDB1 semicolon. As I mentioned earlier, each and every SQL should exit with semicolon. Otherwise, it won't take. Okay. Create user rack dev username. Okay, let me show you in top. It won't come up. CLR, SCR. Leave it, no? Okay, leave it. Let me. I'll do one thing.
So it's a clear screen actually. CLER space screen. SCRE.
That's okay. That's okay. Leave it. Create. Thanks for update that. No problem. Create user. Rax dev user. Identified by password. I used to give Oracle underscore 123. That is fine. So I have created a user. This is a local user. Okay, how we can identify the local user and common user as part of user management, we will discuss it. In a PDB, I have created this user. When you created this, just username and password will be there. But this user cannot log into the database. It requires certain kind of privileges. Let me give the privilege. Grant create session. Create session to this user. Now this user can able to connect it. Okay, this is a privilege. Without this privilege, this user cannot connect. Let me show you this username is raxdev and the password is oracle123, hostname raxinfotech, port is same, I'm using service name pdb1. Okay, user just now we have created and password I have given. If you want to save that password like in this way, in this session, let me save that one. Test. What happened? Succeeded. Okay, let me connect it. See this test, it's a locally it is connected. Show PDBs. Show PDBs. This user doesn't have any privileges to query the tables or to read the information, nothing. We just given to connect to the database. We will discuss more about that in the next session. This is a locally. Now, if I want to move, okay, this password file, I have renamed it. Okay, let me disconnect it. No. Rack test dev user dev. Okay, disconnected. Let me try to connect it again. It is allowed, right? So local users can able to connect it remotely, but admin users, those who are connected with the sys privilege. Okay, this is a sys privilege one, right? Let me disconnect that. Disconnect. See, if I want to connect, it is throwing an error, invalid. Why? Because let me check the properties. It's a sys user, it's an admin role, sysadmin user. These users require the Vora password file. Without this password file, this will not connect remotely. Here, now test, it should success and it will allow to connect. Yep, that's it. I hope, I think it's almost. So that concludes our today's part. With how we can connect, how we can connect to the database, how we can manage, how we can connect remotely. Even in the user management also we have covered some part. Next session we can discuss the roles, privileges, how the users can able to connect, those we can discuss. Okay, to conclude today's session, whatever we learned today, we have learned how the multi-tenant architecture will be there. What is the difference between normal architecture and multi-tenant architecture, and how we can manage the database, how we can start up and shut down the database, how many ways we can shut down, how many ways we can start up, what is the use cases when you start with no mount, what is the use, when you start with the mount, what is the use, and how we can shut down. Also we learn how we can connect to the database, difference between the database user and OS user. Okay, and also locally connection, how we can connect how we can connect remotely using local user credentials, and how we can connect admin user connections remotely. What is the difference? Okay, in the next session we will discuss remaining things like user management part and other things. Okay, let me take questions if you have anything so that we can conclude for today.